Well, hey, handy people, Dan here. Hey, figured I've been ignoring the SAF for a long time as I did the laser build, so there's something that's been bugging me I wanted to do, and that was restore the center console piece of the walnut trim. I've had a piece of aluminum trim in its place, and I decided, I'll show you. So come on. Well, I just sprayed a clear coat. This is after wet sanding with 1000 grit, gluing the cracks down with super glue. You can still see the cracks kind of there, but everything's flat. And my plan is to wet sand this a couple of times and spray it a couple times and smooth it out. And here's hoping. I'm using this product. I'll tell you if it's any good or not. It says it's durable, it's for wood, metal, plastic, it's high gloss. Rust-Oleum product. I'm not real crazy about the spray system, but that is what it is. So here's hoping. So the couple of coats, and she's shiny. You can still see the cracks, but you know what? It ain't perfect. I could sand it and fiddle, but I think it's going to go in as is. You know, doing a consolectomy to get rid of that aluminum and get my burl walnut in there. So here's the secret to gluing on a piece of this plastic. This is a piece I harvested from another console that I had, a spare that was actually damaged, but I got a new screw hole mount, and I cut it down because I want to surface mount it on here, and I'm going to use my technique of using the Cubond filling powder. I call it the magic dust, and super glue. So here's how it works. Once again, I've showed you this. Some of you have seen maybe my other video on this, but I call it the magic dust, sort of like the old Cheech and Chong thing, remember? Well, maybe you don't remember. I'm kind of old. So, anyways, you just hit her good with super glue, set her in, push her down, add some more super glue around the edges. A little more super glue, a little more, a little bit there. And the cool thing about this bonding powder is it really works. And I put a piece of paper underneath it as a catch basin, and then I just pour this stuff on it, and if I miss, well, I got the catch, right? And then I get it in there good. And then I tap the loose stuff off, and it's bound up. Then I take this, because I already folded a little fold in it, and I try to capture anything I don't use so it can be used. And these little jars are tiny, but they go a long way to fixing a lot of plastic parts. So what I did was I took a piece off of another one of these, a scrap one of these center trims, and I cut it, and this one was almost broken all the way off, but I cleared it out, ground it down, and then glued this in using that Cubond powder, and I call it the magic dust. I was using the magic dust on this, and yeah, she's ready to go back in. This thing's nice and firm, and it's just super glue and the Q-bond. Good stuff. For that new piece that I just put on, I had to shorten one of the screws, so I ground it down and then made it pointy so it'd go in. The first time I tried to put that in, I bottomed the screw out and it broke my fresh piece that I glued in off. So, you know, here's part B. Or part 2. Hopefully this works. Perfect. Ha! Okay, now I harvested this also from the other console. There's a couple ways you can do these, but I like to do them. Well, bear in mind, the first 3 screws you put in are 1, 2, 3, because they're not part of the this assembly, this long assembly. So there's 2 that come with that. Now this has to be fed into this channel, which the factory uses nice small cable ties, which I might have some, I think. And you feed it into this little trough, or raceway, I should say. I think that's a proper term. And then you plug it in, but first it's easiest to put that screw in and get that done. So, got to get a couple of those. I think I dropped one. There's one right there. Yeah. And I was missing one on this. So, oh wait, I almost forgot a step. This guy has to fit right in this slot here. And you push him down till he snaps. And that's hard to get out. You got to really work at that one to get him out. But he's out. Now, I'll put this screw in. It'll go in. One, and I need one more. Fortunately, I have a few extras of these. Fortunately. And you do that gently. The key is, did I say gently? I mean extremely gently. Make sure everything's mounted and plugged in. I'll show you this in a second because I don't know if you can see it from there. But you have to make sure everything is plugged in and mounted so that it doesn't come apart underneath. And it helps with fit. And I got to get a couple small cable ties just to tie this down and this both ends down. So that's my next step. Well, what do you know? I had a couple small yellow ones, and since this is out of sight, yellow ought to be just fine. There's one. And there's two. Cool. Trim off the excess. And there we have it. Console ready to go back in. Another little trick I learned, which so you can see this. I take a Scotch-Brite pad. These lighters, these old lighter things, tend to corrode up inside. So if you take a Scotch-Brite and do like this, and just go around inside the hole. It's amazing what crud comes out first off. And you flip it over. And go the other way. And it kind of cleans that up down there. It makes contact a whole lot better. Good old Scotch-Brites. And then I roll them the other way. You're not trying to do it hard, you're just trying to get it down to the bottom so it's touching. You go one way, and you gotta roll it so it fits in there. And then the other. You see, I'm always spinning it the direction of the fold, or away from the fold. Not this way, but with it. And that allows you to have a good connection. Boom. I always leave it in sport. Well, there you have it. Perfect, no, but not bad. They say, well, is the work worth it? Well, yeah, I think so. I think so. It looks a lot better. It's all matching. That's shinier, but it's the way the light's coming in the windshield, but it matches pretty darn well. And I mean, they came from the same car, so it's matching trim, but just the paint and angle and everything. But oh yeah, original wood back in the car.